The Temple of Solomon in Jerusalem, one of the most magnificent structures of antiquity, was the heart of his kingdom and a symbol of power and wealth. But behind its splendor lay a fascinating story. Solomon, the wisest king, maintained 700 wives of royal blood and 300 concubines. How could one man manage so many relationships, and what secrets were hidden in his palace? In this video, we explore daily life in the temple, the rituals, and the mystery surrounding Solomon and his court. If you are a history enthusiast, subscribe now so you don't miss the most fascinating updates from the world. The Temple of Solomon, a golden wonder. In the year 957 BC, the city of Jerusalem witnessed one of the greatest works in history, the Temple of Solomon. This temple was not only a symbol of devotion to God but also of Solomon's supremacy as king. The temple was a colossal work that cost the equivalent of billions of dollars today. The finest and most precious materials of the time were used, such as cedar from Lebanon and precious stones, all transported to Jerusalem in endless caravans that traveled long distances. More than 180,000 workers were involved in its construction over 7 years, and Phoenician artisans brought with them the finest craftsmanship of the ancient world. This temple was not just a place of worship, it was a true statement of power, showcasing the magnitude of Solomon's empire. The golden walls, the giant columns, and the colossal structure of the temple reflected Solomon's wealth, ensuring that he built a place that would dazzle any visitor and serve as an indisputable spiritual center. The temple's interior was even more impressive. Every corner was covered in pure gold. From the floor to the ceiling, everything shone with the light of the sun and candles. The Holy of Holies, at the heart of the temple, was a perfectly square room that housed the Ark of the Covenant, a sacred symbol for the Israelites. This space could only be visited by the high priest and only once a year, on the Day of Atonement. On the walls, olive wood cherubim covered in gold watched over the sanctuary, creating a solemn and mysterious atmosphere. Additionally, the pillars of Jachin and Boaz, decorated with bronze pomegranates and interwoven chains, symbolized the stability and power of Solomon's kingdom. This temple was not just a building, it was the heart of Israel's faith and power. Life in the palace. Between luxury and power, Solomon, known for his wisdom, was also a man of extraordinary human appetites. Maintaining 700 wives of royal blood and 300 concubines was no easy task, but Solomon managed to divide his time among these women impressively. Each one was treated as a queen, and the beauty and seduction rituals in the palace were exceptional. Women were prepared for the possibility of spending a night with the king. Baths in perfumed waters, massages with myrrh and aloe oils, and hair braided with golden threads were just some of the rituals that made them shine. Each night, the palace transformed into a stage of seduction and power. Exotic fragrances filled the air as women performed captivating dances and adorned their bodies with dazzling jewels. However, the competition among these women was not just based on physical desire but on the political power they could provide the king. The royal wives represented key alliances with different nations, and the fate of an entire kingdom could depend on the relationships among them. This game of power was not limited to physical relationships but involved political strategy. Each woman in the harem knew that winning the king's favor not only meant gaining his affection but also having influence over the kingdom's political decisions. Many of them were intelligent, and the most astute influenced Solomon through their knowledge of politics, philosophy, or even medicine. Each woman sought to attract the king's attention not only through her beauty but also through her skills, ensuring a prominent position in the court. The meticulously conducted seduction rituals included lavish banquets, love songs, and luxurious offerings to please the king. Solomon's harem was not just a place of pleasure but a center of political power. Solomon's magic ring. The dark secret. What many did not know was that Solomon relied not only on his wisdom but also on supernatural powers. According to legends, Solomon possessed a magic ring that granted him the power to control demons and spiritual forces. This ring, engraved with the sacred name of God, allowed him to invoke and subdue spirits, using them to build his majestic temple and rule his kingdom with authority beyond human comprehension. This magical artifact enabled him to dominate spiritual entities, obtaining from them hidden knowledge about nature, plants, and the universe's mysteries. Many accounts claim that Solomon used his ring to control demons that helped him construct the temple and various palace activities. These spirits also assisted in moving massive stone blocks and precious woods, something that modern experts still struggle to fully explain. The ring granted him such power that demons and supernatural beings were forced to serve him. Some carried messages to distant places, while others revealed lost secrets about healing herbs and minerals. Through this power, Solomon acquired mystical wisdom that led him to be considered one of the wisest men of all time. Despite his incredible mastery over occult forces, Solomon never forgot that his true power came from God. Although he delved into the study of the supernatural, he always sought to keep his faith intact, making him a unique figure in history. Someone who used magic and divine wisdom in a way that few humans could comprehend. The decline of Solomon and the end of his reign. As the years passed, Solomon's life became increasingly complicated. His harem and foreign alliances began to corrupt the unity of his kingdom. His foreign wives, each with their own customs and religions, started introducing pagan cults into the kingdom. Seduced by his wives' love and his intellectual curiosity, the king began allowing the worship of foreign gods to prosper in Jerusalem, even building altars to these deities around the city. This weakened his people's faith and started generating resentment among Israel's religious leaders, who saw how the king was straying from the true faith. Priests and prophets warned of divine wrath, but their voices were silenced by the pagan rituals that increasingly gained ground in the court. Eventually, the political competition within Solomon's harem began to affect his leadership. While he was occupied with intrigues and conspiracies, the people began to crumble. The high taxes and forced labor required to maintain the palace and temples in operation led to revolts among the tribes. Historical records mention that the kingdom began to fall apart when Rehoboam, Solomon's son, inherited the throne. However, internal tensions were already so severe that they resulted in the kingdom's division. Thank you for joining us on this journey. Don't forget to subscribe and comment on what topic you'd like us to explore in upcoming videos.